We all kind of think we know what hell is supposed to be, right? Fire, brimstone, eternal punishment. But what if it's something else entirely? Something more psychological, more personal, and in a really strange way, more just. Let's dive into a fascinating new theory of hell, one that was born from an author's deep dissatisfaction with that classic picture.
Right, so the popular idea goes something like this. In hell, you're forced to confront your sins. You have to watch a highlight reel of all your worst moments. It sounds pretty straightforward, but when you really start to pick that apart, a very simple question kind of jumps out.
Exactly. How does this actually work? Are you just kicking back in some demonic movie theater, watching your life's biggest mistakes play out? The author of this theory thought that sounded less like a punishment and a lot more like a show. And this really gets to the first major flaw in this whole popcorn hell idea. It just lacks any fundamental sense of justice. It's a totally passive experience, and for some people, that might not even be a punishment at all.
So you can see the problem here, right? The common myth is that you watch your sins on a screen while demons laugh along. But the author's problem is, where's the justice in that? A truly cruel person might just be grabbing some popcorn and enjoying the show right along with them. Where's the torment in that? Where's the justice? This whole theatrical version of hell, it just doesn't hold up.
Okay, so with this popcorn hell idea totally falling apart, the author went searching for a better answer, a system that felt more profound, more meaningful. And the inspiration came from some pretty wild places. This investigation pulled from, three really different areas. You've got Old Norse stories with their complex afterlives like Valhalla. Then you have studies on the collective, which hint at a kind of shared consciousness. And then, get this, even the physics concept of entropy, which explores how connections break down. Out of this incredible mix comes a completely new model. And this new model is called Hell's Collective. The thinking is that all souls are part of this big, dynamic system. So good souls get swapped back into their own best memories. They get to relive moments of love and joy, but for the hell beings, as they're called in this theory, something very, very different happens. They get swapped somewhere else entirely. And this is where the whole theory just clicks. This is the masterstroke, right? It reveals a punishment that is so much more terrifying than just watching a movie of your sins. Okay, so here's how it's supposed to work. First, a good soul gets sent back to relive a happy memory. At that exact moment, a hell being is swapped in. But they're not there to just watch, no. They are forced to experience one of their own cruel acts, but from the other side. They are literally dropped into the mind, the body, the consciousness of their victim, forced to feel every single ounce of the pain they caused.
Think about that. You're no longer the spectator. You are the unwilling participant. You feel the fear, the humiliation, the pain. Every cognitive movement of the person you wronged plays out in your own mind as you're forced to watch yourself commit the act. There's no way you're laughing along now.
But the torment doesn't even stop there. Because you got to remember, this is a purely mental experience. There's no physical body to act as a buffer. And that magnifies the suffering in a really specific way. The source suggests the pain is amplified, maybe tenfold. And why is that? Because in this state, your mind has zero physical distractions. It's just raw, unfiltered expectation of pain, a purely psychological torture. Here's a great way to think about it. We've all felt that, right? That knot in your stomach when you're waiting for something painful. It's often way worse than the thing itself. Now just imagine that feeling of pure, uncut dread with no escape, no physical release, just stretched out over and over and over again. That's the kind of torment we're talking about here.
There's another really striking metaphor from the source to describe this internal agony. It's a fire that feels so cold it burns. It's this paradoxical, all-consuming feeling. We're not talking about the fire and brimstone of mythology. This is an internal, psychological fire that burns with the cold, hard reality of the pain you caused.
So, is that it? Is this just an eternity of psychological torture? Well, surprisingly, no. According to the author, this version of hell actually has a purpose. It's not just about punishment, it's about something more. There's actually an exit. The suffering ends when the hell being is completely broken and transformed by the experience. See, this isn't just about pain for pain's sake. It's about forcing a complete and total understanding of your actions. It's about learning empathy, the hardest way you could possibly imagine. The goal here is purification. And this is what brings the author to a really surprising conclusion. This version of hell, as absolutely horrifying as it sounds, is one they can actually be at peace with. And you have to ask why. Well, because it's not random. It's not just eternal torment. It has a purpose: to purify. It delivers this kind of ultimate justice by forcing the perpetrator to fully comprehend their victim's experience. It's a system built entirely on forced empathy.
So there you have it. That's the theory. A hell designed not just to punish, but to purify through this perfect, terrible understanding. Now what do you think? Is that a concept of justice that makes sense to you? Is that a hell you could be at peace with? It's definitely something to think about.